And welcome back. It's time for the Malzberg panel once again, and rejoining us is John Gizzi, Newsmax Washington, D.C. correspondent. And here with us also is Ron Christie. He's read at the Daily Beast, and he's also former assistant to George W. Bush and advisor to Dick Cheney. And we're glad to have both of them here again. Before we get to what I just spoke to Heather McDonald about in this feminist outcry that the perpetrator of those horrific murders in Santa Barbara somehow was a male chauvinist. We had Gloria Allred on who put forth that theory. I want to get back to the release of Sergeant Bo Bergdahl. And Jay Carney today was asked about why the Congress was not alerted, and he said basically it was not an option. Because it was so secretive, nobody could know, and they couldn't let the word slip out. And again, Ron, we've been told that this is a deal that has been in the works for 4 or 5 years. Why do you think that the White House did not tell the Congress before transferring, legal or illegal, because there's two schools of thought on it right now, but why do you think they did not alert Congress, or at least the leaders, that these 5 top-level Taliban detainees at Gitmo were being transferred?
Well, good afternoon again, Steve. I would say that the leaders of the House and the Senate Intelligence Committees know who these terrorists are. These are not 5 sort of run-of-the-mill criminals. These aren't prisoners of war. These are very committed terrorists who held senior leadership positions in the Taliban. And I think if the Congress had been given the legal 30 days notification of their impending release, I think there would have been an outcry on Capitol Hill. It would have been leaked. And I think the news media would have gone crazy with this. And you're in trouble, Steve, when Matt Lauer is the one who was grilling the White House about the intent behind the release of these terrorists.
Yeah, John, that is. There have been people in the media, at least on the left, who we talk about as the mainstream media, who have started asking these questions. But as you pointed out earlier, nobody really from the Democratic side in the House or the Senate.
No one yet, Steve. But I would say, and I think Ron will agree, the outcry is going to be so loud, and the odds on congressional hearings so overwhelming, that at least there will be one Democrat in the Senate or the House who will say something about it. And again, going back to the concept of secrecy and not informing Congress, presidents have taken dramatic action and let congressional leaders, at the very least, know what they were doing. Certainly in the president's first term, he gave a heads up that he was going to take out the Somali pirates, and that was kept as a secret. Other presidents have kept other matters secret, but let at least the leadership in Congress know what they were doing. Doing it entirely solo just violates precedent as well as violates federal law, frankly.
All right, let's move on to one more issue before we get to what we talked about with Heather. There's been reports left and right of the government agencies buying up ammunition and purchasing tanks and all that. What's always concerned me is the buying up of the ammunition, and to a point where gun owners and ammunition makers and gun suppliers would say there's really not a lot left on the shelves, and then it forces a run on ammunition. And I've always held this fear in my heart and mind that this is a way, again, of circumventing, in this case, the Constitution, going after the Second Amendment by this administration without doing anything against the Second Amendment. I mean, if there's no ammunition, who's going to be able to fire a gun? And I don't put it past them. And now I'm reading a story on Fox News that the Obama administration is resorted to using executive power to try to put some of the firearms industry out of business. There's a report released by Darrell Issa, who says that the Justice Department documents show that there's a program known as Operation Choke Point, which is now targeting firearms companies, gun makers. And this is designed to go against companies that they find objectionable. And it was documented, it started with the banks and bad loans and different things and questionable payments. But now they're going after legitimate firearm companies under the guise of this, and many believe it's just another attempt, Ron, to circumvent the Constitution without having to deal with Congress or the courts or anybody.
Well, not only to circumvent the Constitution, the will of the people, but this is the first time I think you've seen in recent memory that an administration has actively gone out against private companies and private citizens who don't hold or share their same ideological views. You know, it's one thing that we can have a polite agreement to disagree here, but the administration seems intent on taking away ammunition, taking away people's ability to exercise their Second Amendment rights, and also, when you look at the freedom of speech under the First Amendment, of limiting people's ability to have the right to say what they want to say or buy that ad because it's against the Obama administration. This is just really, for an administration that says they were going to be the most transparent in American history, I think they've proven themselves 100% otherwise.
What's the scuttlebutt on this up there on the Hill, John? Is this getting much traction? I know this story I just saw it for the first time today, the documents released by ICE's committee, or at least to the media.
Well, quite honestly, it's only just begun as a story, and members of Congress are starting to look at it carefully. And frankly, I think you're going to see a lot of analogies made to the point where the Roosevelt administration had federal agents take out the chairman of the board of Montgomery Ward in the 1930s because of his opposition to parts of the New Deal program. Again, as Ron said, this is a case of the administration singling out a business that it does not like and taking early action against it. But as I said in the case of Bo Bergdahl and others, executive orders can be threatening. I've seen just the fury of Congress get Bill Clinton to withdraw a controversial executive order known as federalism. I think on this particular issue, one will see some congressional action, and it will be bipartisan.
All right, and that will be a rarity. All right, guys, don't go away, because when we come back, I do want to discuss what some feminists are trying to do in exploiting this Santa Barbara killing spree that took place a couple of weeks ago, and a mentally deranged young man who killed men and women. All of a sudden, because of his manifesto, it's been turned into, by some, as an attack against women, and he's a male chauvinist. And again, like I've been saying, not to diminish this, but to me, a male chauvinist, I don't know when it changed, but it always meant some guy who, was out on a date and felt he had to open the door for the woman. Maybe I'm stuck in the 70s, I don't know, but that's what it used to mean. We're coming back, and if you want to weigh in on social media, tell us what you're thinking. You could do it by checking this out.